Many pianists practice regularly and work extremely hard, but they still find their progress is inconsistent. Difficult passages remain unreliable, and performances don't feel as certain as they would like. Very often, the issue is not the amount of effort pianists are putting into their practicing, but it's the structure. And so in this video, I want to look at some of the most common reasons that piano practice stops becoming effective and look at how we can approach our practicing so it is more clear and more efficient. One of the biggest problems I see is that pianists begin their practicing before they've really identified the problems that they are trying to solve. They sit down at the piano, they play a passage, repeating it over and over again, and they hope that this repetition will result in improvement. However, repetition without clarity and focus doesn't really solve anything, and in fact it can even help to reinforce errors and mistakes. So, before practicing a difficult passage, what we've got to do is ask ourselves, what exactly isn't working? Is it the rhythm, coordination of the hands, the fingering? Is it the notes not being quite securely into the memory? Is it control? Is it voicing? Once the problem is clear, it becomes so much easier to solve. Another very common issue is that pianists try to work on too much material at once. Instead of reducing a passage, they repeatedly try to attempt a whole section or even a whole piece. And often the fastest practice is actually made by reducing material to a really small section, and I mean 2 notes, 3 notes, 1 beat, 1 movement of the hand. Once the problem becomes manageable and there's clarity, then improvement can actually happen quite dramatically. Now, I want to show you an example to demonstrate this, and this is from the first movement of Beethoven's Pianists Sonata. There's a section where you've got some crossing hands and mordents, and there are a few technical challenges this poses. So, one of the challenges is the crossing of the hands, and you may have noticed when I played it then, I did miss one of the notes. I haven't done any warming up or practicing yet today. So that is one challenge. Another challenge is the mordents and getting the clarity there. But in our practice, we're only going to focus on one of those things. And we're going to look at the crossing of the hands. That movement. And what we're going to do is we're just going to play those notes. So I'm just practicing the 2 notes where the hand moves. And I'm doing it slowly so I learn the movement. I could do it with this hand in position to get the feeling of it more closely. I might try doing that with my eyes closed. Can I do it without looking at the keys? Only when that feels absolutely secure, I might then try doing it at a faster tempo. Again, check, can I do it with my eyes closed? Then, we've done that very small movement, we can start to put it back into the context of the piece, starting slowly. Adding a little bit more. And slowly increasing the tempo. You see, this is one of the most important points about efficient practice. We reduced it right down to just those 2 notes, that one movement. Repetition in itself is not a bad thing, and you'll notice I did do some repetition there. But without awareness, repetition can just become a mindless process. And as I said before, it can mean that we end up reinforcing errors. When we are repeating something, there must always be a purpose. We should know what we're checking, what we're aiming to improve, and we should always be reflecting, was the last attempt successful? If not, what do I need to do? Do I need to do it slower? Do I need to take a smaller number of notes? So instead of automatically just repeating something over and over again, stop, take some time to rethink, reduce the material further if need be, redefine the problem. When we perform, it's always a reflection of our practice and our preparation. Anything that is uncertain in our piano practicing will immediately cause problems when we come to perform it. So this is why clarity in our practice matters so much. If a passage is not secure, then that could cause problems in performance. And a passage is not secure simply because it works once. It needs to be reliable, consistent. We need to feel we're in control of it. And this has to be built gradually and very deliberately using some of the techniques in this video. So good practice is not about just doing more, it's often about really thinking clearly about what we're trying to achieve. The aim is not simply to spend more time at the piano, but to solve problems effectively and build control. I think if you approach your practice with this kind of clarity and structure, your progress will become much more consistent. Now, if you'd like a clearer framework for approaching practicing in this way, I've created a free resource, a piano practice checklist, and you can download it using the link in the description of this video. If you would like to go further and have a more detailed step-by-step system, I've also written the full advanced piano practice system for busy adult pianists. And again, the link is in the description below this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I do hope you have found these things helpful and that they will aid you as you continue to progress in your own piano playing.